Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It is Tuesday night, so it's time to get back into it. Sorry we missed you last Thursday, but that life thing does get in the way sometimes, but we are back at it. And the one going in on it with me today is, of course, the one, the only Fandom Distinct. What's good with your day, brother?
Yo, if I die, will there be like a sculpted Funko, of me?
Absolutely got to make that
What is
mark.
that? Taxidermy?
What's that?
It's taxidermy, right? That's what they call it, or something, or some other thing.
That's for animals. I think it was a little something else, I think, for humans. And then they called the bus that they were making, like, what, Marquettes or something like that?
Yep. So there we go. Marquette Funko of
Have a
me.
Marquette of Fandom. Phantom needs his own Marquette. Make it lifelike. I want it to be able to open passwords. Oh, that was insane. Poker Face episode 8, the Orpheus Syndrome. And we open with a woman seemingly distraught and crying, yelling out to a man, I know you have to understand. And I'm thinking he didn't, as his very next action was to cast himself over the balcony to his death. Why the drastic measure?
Oh my gosh. When I saw it, I'm like, okay, obviously, what the hell did she do specifically to drive this man to throw himself off? But to the point he's like, look at me. You want this to be like the last thing you remember? I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, that
And
was
he made
brutal.
sure he was like dead. Like, gosh, that would like haunt me for the rest of my life. Like, that would be like the very last thing I see of someone.
Oh,
Uh,
you'd have nightmares of that. That is brutal. Yeah, I think they called it a Marquette in the show. What's up, Jake Cruz? I see you out there. Oh man, yeah, that would just be. I mean, I thought he was just doing it to mess with her head, but then I was like thinking maybe there was a little more of a reason to do it once we see what was going on later, and we're going to talk about it. But then they break to a scene with the legend himself, Mr. Nick Nolte, was in the house for this one, and looks like he's some sort of special effects creator and a pretty good one at that. And I was just juiced when I saw Nolte was in the house. I was like, here we go.
that was finally a legend that I actually know.
Right? Oh, did you know the woman, Cherry Jones?
No, I did not know her. I've seen the black actor before as well, but I can't remember specifically where I saw him from. But the woman, no. You have to look on IMDb.
Yeah, I have to look at that too. I got a little mind block on him too. Barack Obama looking. He's definitely seen him in something else though before. Yeah, I can't remember what though. But yeah, she was in like the first thing that pops into my mind with her is she was Matt Damon's mom in Ocean's 12. She's the one that got
Yeah, I
them all
never
out of
seen
jail.
Ocean's 12
Oh,
before.
you never saw that one?
Nah, single ocean, whatever, all of them. Nope.
Oh my gosh, you need to get some Oceans in your life, man. Those are some of the greatest shows ever. Let's see.
Apparently, she was in The Village and Signs. I've seen Signs. I don't know if she had a huge part in that.
Oh, well, all right. Good looking, AK, if you're out there. Hope all is well and that works out, gets better, and we will see you next week for sure. But yeah, that was I can't. She's done a bunch of them, but yeah, that's the main one I remember is from Ocean's 12, and her being, and also she was the president on 24, Jack Bauer.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's been in a couple of them. But yeah, Nolte in the house, definitely one of the biggest stars yet, and that's definitely probably my favorite part of this show is all the cameos that keep coming on. That's awesome. They keep bringing in big stars for every up. Definitely the smartest thing they did. But the weeping woman shows up to his place, and we find that they used to work together before some tragic accident made him leave the company. And whatever it was, he feels like it was his fault. And he said the service was nice, but wants to know, like, why after all this time, and why did she finally show up? And she asked if he thinks that you can be forgiven by the dead. And he said, nope, I've been trying for 30 years. So whatever it was that happened, he's been carrying this burden around for 3 decades. I mean, that is just brutal.
All tied into what happened earlier, because this guy was like, no, she was like trying to convince him before he threw himself up. So I'm like, okay, so it has to be between all of them three. Like,
Yeah,
what the hell had happened? And knowing this show is revolved around death, I'm like, it has to be around someone's death.
and did you have any guesses where Charlie was going to fit in by this time?
Hell to the no. Like, I didn't get like, and I did not expect her to like work with Arthur at all.
I sure as hell didn't expect to find her in a barber shop right out of the gate. Like, what? That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we
To the
find that
point
Mac.
that she's like hearing so many lies, she's now starting to twitch.
She's getting facial ticks. Absolutely. That's awesome.
And
Like,
I'm
I
like,
gotta
wait
get
a
out of here.
minute. Like, I've never seen her like tweak like that before. So it must have been like that, like insane.
Oh, I just can't even do it. Why would you think he would understand? She's legally nuts. Yeah, she's that. We find out that she's just not altogether there. The show's impressive casting. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The fact that they brought in, were able to bring in this many stars. This show has a lot bigger budget than you'd think. I think. I thought she was the assistant in the Ocean's movie. No, she was Matt Damon's mom. And yeah, well, yeah, I don't want to say too much. Phantom hasn't seen it, but yeah, absolutely, love the Ocean's movies. Oh no, that was she did, but that was in my Hangouts, Jake. Absolutely, all caught up. We find that Max, the man who jumped, was actually her husband, but they were getting a divorce, and she made it sound like they had one last fight, and he just snapped and jumped to his death. But that just doesn't add up. Like she said, the marriage had been over for a while, so it's not like heartache would have sent him over. Like, what were you thinking when she was saying all this? Were you buying her?
I wasn't buying it either. They keep on saying, "Oh, we had fights, but finally," but she keep on saying it's the same fight, but it's the same fight to the point that now it's like, you know what? F this. The
Yeah,
ultimate F you is gonna be me
that's
throwing myself off the
fairly
freaking
joustic.
balcony. Oh my gosh.
I'm just like, how is that? Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't add up. I wasn't buying her BS. I was like, somebody lying. This is BS. Like I was trying to go Charlie on it right out of the gate. But she says she needs to hire Arthur to do one of his special busts for her late husband so he can look into his eyes and beg for forgiveness. And like I said, that just instantly seemed like BS to me. I was like, you could go talk to a grave site. Like, why do you need a specific bust? Like, I don't know. That's almost creepy. But you hadn't had any. You didn't have any guesses by now how Charlie was going to fit into this episode. Just as lost as I was by
Nah,
here.
same thing.
It's like what? A while later, the bust is delivered, and I must say the master is cracked because that thing did look eerily lifelike. Like that was creepy.
You good on your end, DJ? You're like buffering a little.
Oh, I just saw the. Yep, I just saw the little arrows come in. That's no good.
Now repeat what
Yeah.
you just said.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's still down to that one little thing. Oh, and I cleared everything. I wonder what made that happen. That's weird. But after a while, I was just saying how lifelike that thing that he made. Like he's actually a master at his craft
Oh
because
yeah.
that I would not have that thing in the house with me. That thing was eerie. That thing was creepy as hell
You
looking.
wouldn't want that. A
I'm not
giant
trying to
tamer.
you wake up and it's just staring at you every day, like eyes following you around the house. I'm not having it. That was just too creepy. But I like how her hallucination turned into the reveal of what happened that day. Like it also got me thinking that this woman is just more than a little off her rocker. Like, were you just sensing that she was just flat out nuts right out of the gate?
Nah, then, well, the moment it started turning to life, I was like, hold up. Is it like guilty conscious now?
Right. That's like, is she crazy hallucinating, or is this just a guilty conscience getting at her, or is this just the show's way of telling us what happened that day?
It was both what was going to go down and guilty conscious because near the end of the episode, you can clearly see like she felt guilty. Granted, she was like, "Oh, I was cleaning up all your messes," but then it's like, no, you felt something because every so often, you saw their faces. You
You
didn't
knew.
care. You wouldn't have been seeing that.
You knew you was doing wrong. You knew better. But what sense did it make for Max to come home and say that he knows and his mind is made up? Like he's going to the police. I'm like, then go. Like, don't just tell a
Exactly.
known murderer your plans, even if it is your wife. Like, what are you talking? What are you doing?
I don't get that sometimes with some people. The same thing with even Char. I swear, I said this earlier, like off his screen. There's like two characters in this episode. There's like starting to act like freaking Charlie. Like, this person's a murderer, report him to the police or something, or get someone else to report to the police since you're on the run. Like, y'all should at least report it to the police, then have y'all one on one, and then boom, have the cops come in or something to stall. But no, no, you drink the damn tea.
Every time I'm just like, does nobody know? Just everybody's this ignorant. Like, what are we doing? Like,
That's
my
why I
God,
haven't drank no tea or coffee in a minute. Because it's damn episode.
I'm telling you, rule number one: don't accept food or drink from someone you just accused of murder. Like, what are you doing, man? I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I still don't understand why he jumped, other than like for an extra dramatic ending, unless he did it so his face would be malformed and it would be too malformed to unlock the Face ID.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because they specifically did that to the point that his face was like disfigured.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was maimed. So I'm like, that.
Because remember, he said, "Oh, either one of them was." He said, like, "Oh, it's on my computer." She's like, "Oh, I know all your passwords." So then he's like, "Well, she doesn't know about my Face ID because if so, she would have mentioned all about the passwords and crap." So I think that's why he like just jumped off. But now
He
I'm
really,
curious, like, couldn't you even like take like a photo? Would that even have worked?
yeah, with these new 4K videos, who knows? Maybe. I mean, there's some pretty vivid images these days with cameras. So yeah, you would think maybe it would work like that. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, you really had to put this man and make him make you something, a special effect for 2 weeks with all this hard work just so you can sneak into a laptop. Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, I guess, I mean, that was it. But I mean, why even tell her that it's on there? I mean, that's just another just foible. What, I mean, what? Why would you even let her know it's on there? Just let somebody else get it and bust her. And like, why the dramatic effect? I think it would have been more like if he just dropped dead, that would look more weird, and they'd be more likely to do an autopsy. Like, he jumps over the thing, no autopsy. Obviously, he jumped to his death. That's the cause of death. Whereas, if he just dropped dead, they're going to be doing an autopsy to see what made him drop dead. So again, why the dramatic effect of jumping over the ledge?
I'm surprised there was no investigation or anything about like his fall.
Yeah,
Like no one didn't like suspect like she had anything to do with it.
that's just crazy.
Unless there
Uh,
was like cameras or something to prove it, then okay. But uh,
But that smug look and wink she gave Max bus when she thought she was tidying up all those loose ends, like, that got me. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna enjoy when you get yours at the end of this one." Like, that smug look was just too much. So evil. Then we finally see the star of the show, and she is sweeping up hair in a barber shop. And like I said, I did not see that coming. Like, okay, that was out of nowhere. But she gets the task of driving some hair out to Arthur for one of his creations, and her interests get the better of her, and she just has to know what exactly it is he has going on out here. Like, she is nosy. Like, I guess if you're on the run and like don't really care, like, I guess you can just be out there like that, just extra. But I don't know. What if he was a murderer and you're out there by yourself? Now you're got. Like, what?
yeah, very true. Even then, I'll still be like curious, even if I wasn't like on the run. I'm like, what the hell this person needs all this hair for?
Shit. Oh, so she can use her facial recognition to get into computer. Yeah, I mean, I think that is why he jumped to his death and did it. But I don't know. It's just weird. I'd almost rather have the autopsy and rather get strung up for murder, because that's just insanity. Can't be just going out killing people like that and getting away with it. But after finding out that not only is Arthur not a serial killer, but is one of the most honest truth tellers in the valley, she soon inquires if he may indeed be looking for a helping hand. She cannot stand the lies in the barbershop anymore. Yeah, she was drowning in there. I mean, all the way down to getting the facial tics, like we were saying. Like, that was
Hmm.
just too much for her. That would be so ruthless.
Was this the first time we see like she's able to tell like someone's lying from like the television?
That might be the first time she commented on the show. I can't remember.
Because literally he was watching Maury, and like before he like get the result, she's like lying.
And the boy's like, right every time. Absolutely, she does it. But first off, why is Charlie helping herself to this kind man's food? Like, she asked if he would like some of this delicious jelly toast, and he's like, "You bought jelly?" I was just like, "Oh my God." It's like, dude, obviously you should be asking, not just helping yourself to this man's food that's not even jelly, it's fake blood. Like,
Oh,
disgusting. And then not only does she keep eating it when she finds out it's fake blood, but proceeds to take a big bite and spill it all over the same piece she just spoke about seeing him work on every single day. Like, Charlie, zero manners? What is wrong with this woman?
when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Oh, that's messed up. That is messed up. Like, act like you've been there, just living in a barn or something. Like, I mean, you just spoke on how hard this man's been working on this piece, and you're just gonna turn around and glop stuff all like, I don't know. I was a little irritated with Charlie right there.
But it's hypocritical because remember when the guy was like in her car, like making garbage and shit. She was like, "Hey, this is like my sanctum sanctora." And
What do
here
you?
she, and the drummer was in her car.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And here she is in someone else's place.
Right, exactly. Just walking exactly like, yeah, I see what you're saying. She's the hipper. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, come on, like, have some manners. Like, you've been there before. But we do see that Charlie was there to help plea for to hear the plea from Laura when she made that plea for a bust of Max. And she of course knew that whatever what she was talking about, like we said earlier, she was absolutely lying. But Arthur, being a good friend, said he didn't care if friend asked for his help, so he's not going to refuse. He's going to help her. Like, he's a good guy all the way around. Like, oh man, just
Got
made
nothing to do too, so it's like, yeah.
oh, but so bitter. Well, he's just doing it on his own time. I mean, he said that blood was more expensive than real blood. He's obviously still getting cash, and he said, like he said, he gets to do what he wants when he wants on his own schedule. So, shit, he was living the good life out there. Leaving that other business was probably the best decision he ever made.
Mm-hmm.
But he tells Charlie he's going to need her full time for a few weeks, and he also tells her the story of why he didn't work with those two anymore. And I mean that must have been like in the days before having like a paramedic on scene and like all the rules that they have, because it seems like some simple mouth to mouth should have brought that woman back from that death. Like what happened to her? Like
Yeah,
that's
but
kind of
even then, they didn't expect. They didn't even. I can't even talk. They didn't even think that she was dead too. They thought that she was like simply acting. But then they realized like, wait a minute, hold up, maybe she ain't acting.
right. Like she ain't moving. Like they pulled her out and she wasn't moving. But again, like I mean, the human only has so many lives. It's not like they left her down there for half an hour and then figured it out. Like obviously she was only in there for a couple minutes. If she drowned, pull her ass out, give her some CPR, give her some mouth to mouth, and it should. I mean, should have done the trick. I don't think it should have killed her that quick. I don't know. But of course, this is a movie and we got to get through a storyline in an hour. But I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, man, pull her out, give her mouth to mouth to save this woman. Like, oh, man. But after hearing his sad tale, Charlie tells him one of her own. And did you feel like her friend Natalie's death was in any way, shape, or form her fault? Like, what could she have really done to save her?
No, because remember she blamed herself for like not picking up the phone.
Right.
She
But
believed like if she picked up the phone, then her life would have been saved. Just like how he's like, if I never like pushed her, she probably would have been alive.
yeah,
But then we learn like not necessarily your freaking that chick was a murderer, but yeah, so I can see like why in that instance she kind of like still has this like guilt.
yeah, that's weird. I wouldn't have my fake blood in the same refrigerator as my food. How many refrigerators you got, Jake? You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it cold. You got to do what you got to do. Absolutely, especially when it's that expensive and you got to keep it at the right temperature to keep that consistency. It's like, can't blame the man for that. Like, stay out of my food without asking is all I'm saying. But she does, and I don't think like I said, picking up a phone's not going to save somebody's life. I mean, yeah,
I
you're
mean,
going
it
to.
kind of like because she literally been like, "Yo, Charlie, what should I do?" Charlie been like, "Oh, go to the police, not go to your boss."
Right,
And
exactly.
boom, she probably could have still been alive,
Nah, I don't
and
know.
we would
Maybe
never
she
had
was hard.
episodes 2 and 9.
She was telling her to stay away from old boy in the first place, and she kept saying, "No, I gotta go home." And she told her many times, and she was still in that situation. I don't know, hard headed. But yeah, I don't think she should feel too bad. There's nothing she could have done really. Maybe she feels like it, but I don't think so. But she does tell Arthur she gets what he's going through and that he is forgiven for this burden that he's been lugging around for so long. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure. Like he's been carrying this burden for decades, but I'm sure your little Dominus Omnis just cleared it all up and he feels fine now. I'm like,
I
are
was
you
on the
kidding me?
floor hearing that.
Get the hell out of here. But it must have done something because it got Arthur to call Lamb and recheck out those film strips. And I guess she was right. You have to revisit the past to get past it. But like, is this how Cliff's gonna find her? You think like she'll end up turning herself over, knowing like it's never gonna go away until she faces it head on, or is he just gonna end up catching her?
Mm, he's gonna catch her.
You think he's just gonna end up catching her?
Hmm.
She's not just gonna go try to face it head on. I think you're right. I don't think she's just gonna go into that. That's just death. But I'm really liking this episode so far. But of course, the writers just cannot let me get through it without doing something cringeworthy. And when Raul pulled up and introduced himself, and like Charlie was like, "Head deliver," and he replied, "Oh, you're head of the delivery department," and she's like, "No, I deliver heads." Like I just wanted to kick my teeth.
Come on now. I don't want to say that he's typecast to be that type of like an idiot, but I don't want to say an idiot, but too literal, I guess to say. Because the last thing I saw him was in the Adams Family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the last thing.
Yep, Wednesday's dad in the new Adams Family.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think my favorite part for him was in what is it? Funky Night, whatever, the one with Mark Wahlberg, something
Hmm.
Nights. I can't even remember the name of it right now. But yeah, that porn movie with Wahlberg and Burt Reynolds and everybody in it. That's the last time I remember. He was great in that one. But we see it was indeed Charlie that delivered the Max bus to Laura, and while doing so, Arthur was revisiting the old movie footage of that fatal day. And can I just say that I see what a travesty that was? That actress was beautiful. Like, what a waste. I mean, you should fear horrible, like robbing the world of such beauty. Like, how could like you be better? Don't let that woman die in that cage. That was brutal. But while browsing the old footage, he sees that the death was indeed not his fault. It was Laura that tampered with the red light so it wouldn't go off again to make him stop filming. It's like just knew she was going to be a part of it somehow. And while she's on the phone requesting the film so she can destroy the evidence, Arthur shows up on the front porch. And like we were saying, again, what is it with these men showing up accusing known murderers without a backup plan? Like even worse, accepting the food and drink from them. Like, be better.
I don't know. This whole show, there's a lot of characters are like this, like just converting the murderer. I'm just like, why? Just why? At least have it do with the cops around or something.
Oh, that was just.
Then again, Charlie did like one time, but that was only that one time.
That's right, Jake. Boogie Nights. That's what it was. It was something Nights. Absolutely. That's the last time. That was like probably my favorite role with him. But once she admits the truth to him, she actually like hooks up. He actually hooks her up and says, "No one will ever see this footage," and throws the film into the fire. And she's trying to be like, "I am so sorry." I'm like, I just could not wait till she gets hers after this. Like even after all this, and then you're gonna do him in, and he ends up being like a true friend, saying, nobody's ever gonna see this." I was like, oh my god. And it looked like she actually felt remorse for about 2 seconds, then straight up starts giggling. I'm like, sociopath much?
I thought that she was like regretting to poison him, but then I'm like, nope, not at all. No loose ends.
Just giddy about getting away with it again. I mean, she is just sick. And of course, on the way home, the poison kicks in, but somehow Arthur made it all the way to his driveway. Like, if he's going to kick the bucket, at least here Charlie can find him and report that there's been some funny business going on. So I was glad he made it all the way home, but god dang. And then, I mean, what if he passed out at the wheel and then kills some family that's just trying to go to Disneyland? You know what I mean? And now 6 other people are dead because of this psychopath. Like, she is just ruthless. But Laura must have caught a feeling because something made her fish that film back out of the fire before it was completely destroyed. And she did not look happy. It seems like old Arthur may have pulled an old bait and switch, which makes him a tad bit smarter than I was giving him credit for. But he still shouldn't have drank that damn tea.
No one should be.
I'm just like, I don't know what gave her that feeling to fish the thing out, but she's like, wait a minute. Like, would he be smart enough to do this? And yes, sir, he absolutely was. But that would be so brutal, like not being able to stay there and comfort your friend. Like when Charlie got there and found him on the ground, and like you
Yeah.
can't even stay there until the ambulance shows up because you can't afford getting got. Like that was a brutal situation. I was in my feelings on that one for Charlie. Like, can you imagine, like, this guy all of a sudden you became super close with, and he's just laying there dying on the ground, and you can't even stay there with his comfort. Like, you just have to leave him there dying on the ground by himself. That was brutal. That was brutal. But just as Charlie's saying goodbye, she notices the rocks in Arthur's tires, the same type of rocks that were in Laura's driveway, and she's about to ask some questions. But like I said, did they not do autopsies in this town? Like it seems like these otherwise healthy bodies just keep dropping dead so close to each other. Like, wouldn't that raise a little suspicion?
I also thinking the same thing at least with him because the other one, okay, he jumped off the roof. They didn't even bother to do an autopsy on him. But with him, it's like you guys don't want to attempt.
It makes no sense to me. But so, of course, Charlie heads back to Laura's to check for the rocks of question and questions her for her lies. And when Laura invited her inside, did you think she was going to poison Charlie?
Of course.
Get her.
Like literally, you see the camera panning to her, like looking at freaking Charlie examining the rocks. At this point, I'm examining the whole scene. Like, is Charlie like drinking any tea or anything?
Yeah, there's no way. I was like, I mean, obviously, there's 2 more episodes. They can't just kill her, but that was just like, oh, Charlie, don't do it. Do not accept a drink from this woman. You better. So they do have a chat. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if she was really gonna like try to poison her right out of the gate, or maybe just invite her in to see what she knows, and like if she knew something, then maybe offer her the tea. And it looks like that's what happened because the two go inside and have a chat. And I give credit when credit's due. It was actually clever how Laura was like phrasing her words, so she wasn't actually ever lying. And that was until the very end, like when Charlie was already out the door. She just had to put in that final line, which of course was a lie, that Max's death was not her fault. But that was actually clever writing, that the way she was talking around it, she actually wasn't lying. So Charlie's, antennas weren't going off.
True.
That was pretty tight. That's not a very clever name this week, bro. You didn't think you got involved enough with your name. You don't always do an autopsy only if they have a reason to believe it's murder. I mean, yeah, but that's just it. If a healthy body just fell out just out of nowhere and just dropped dead, I'm thinking they're going to want to see why, like what caused it, because that's not normal. Like, you didn't really have any other premeditated conditions or anything. So, yeah. No. What was that? Charlie gets more people to kill himself. Oh, man. So to have a chat, and like I said, that was pretty tight. Like, she almost got through it, but had to give that last line out the door. And those last lines sent Charlie's eyes just back into full-on Twitch mode. Like, there were some whoppers, and Charlie knew it. So Charlie heads back to Arthur's to figure things out. And when she arrives there, she sees Raoul's already there. And Laura's like requested some films that Arthur checked out. And if he doesn't get them back, it's going to be his ass on the line. So now Charlie knows, like, we got to see what's on these films. And as Charlie tries to bring Raoul up to speed, the moving vans of Lamb show up to take everything. And Charlie's desperate to see those missing films, but like the missing film footage, but has no idea like where to find any of them. That is until they start moving the Medusa head, and Charlie notices the film hidden in its hair. It's like, all right, like Arthur was smart. Like, he was trying to do some things. He was smarter than your average bear.
Yeah, he was smart to hide the film, but to even still confront her, regardless.
And if you are going to confront her, don't take any food or drink from the woman. Like, what are you thinking? I can't get past it. But they just had to get, the writers, of course, have to get in their bit of ridiculous. Like, they were doing so well this show for the most part. And then they just had, oh my God, they just had to put her in this horse head costume. Like, come on, man.
That's a touch. I see Charlie actually doing that, so it makes sense.
Oh my God. Which
at the same time, you made yourself like so noticeable to every single person.
Absolutely ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, you're going in incognito and you couldn't be more noticeable. Like, this is just ridiculous. But her doing that actually almost saved Raoul's job with her timing, or at least almost postponed the firing. Like, when it came time, like, all of a sudden a call comes through that there's a horse on loose on the premises. Like, so ridiculous her walking around in this thing. I'm like, literally, were you laughing or just? I was shaking my head at this point.
No, I was laughing. I loved it. Then the two people were commenting, "Wait a minute, is that from that film?" And I forgot the name of the film. You probably know it as a trivia question.
Well, it was something Caligula. It was Caliglia's something, Return or Doom or Death. Yeah, I remember it. Nope, not trivia question, but yeah, I remember that one. Something Caligula, yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, that was funny. And that looked like Steve Aoki that said that. I was like, who is that? But Charlie, of course, gets caught and kicked out. And when she does, she sees that Raoul has just been let go. And she asks if his key card still works because, of course, she isn't done yet. So the two sneak back into the event and set up the film for all to see the truth of how things really went down that fateful night back in the 80s. And before they even showed the film, like, Laura was looking like she was in the midst of a breakdown already. She's like kept hallucinating the one she killed in the crowd, and her speech was like all crude, bringing up topics like that were completely out of place for the event. Like, looks like she was breaking down before they even nailed her.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I thought she was going to lose it. And then seeing the old film being played for everyone, like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, she just snaps and then literally completed her own narrative when she said she didn't know if she was fated to follow Max over the ledge, which she does to the same end, fade to black, and we finally got a true ending. I was like, boom, there we go. Finally. A little closure. What'd you think of this episode?
That was okay.
That's funny.
At one
Like you
point,
guys,
I was like, "Is this the worst episode again?" But I'm like, "Nah, it was all right." I had to get
that's,
like a reminder of it, but it wasn't bad.
and that's hilarious. Of course, I'm on the complete other side. This was a top 3 episode for me. I
Top
absolutely
three.
top 3 episodes for me.
Oh
Love
my
this one.
gosh, I don't know. I guess for me, it's probably could be top five. Like the first, I really enjoyed the practically almost all the episodes until what episode was it? That was like the nail in the head for me was the what was it? Exit stage
Yeah,
death.
that was the worst. Yeah,
I was like, what the hell is this? No, first was episode one. It was episode one. The hippies episode is the second favorite. Or maybe that hippie episode was like my first favorite. Then it was the first episode. And possibly the stall is like my top three.
nice. Yeah, I like definitely like the lady pot growing murders. That was probably number 1. But this one's up there. I like this one, except for the 2 quirky parts. Like I thought they were back on track. The last 2 episodes, exit stage death was the worst, which is sad because I mean Ellen Barkin and Tin Meadows, that should have been one of the best. And I don't know how they messed that up.
Unless it was meant to be that way. We're just like
I mean, they were
over thinking it. I don't know.
overanalyzing. I mean, yeah, because they were. I mean, like I said, it showed what great actors those 2 are just by acting that bad and making it believable. Like the actors were amazing. The storyline was ridiculous. It was just too much. But yeah, that was definitely my least favorite. And then I almost took a step down last week. I was like, oh my god, where's this show going? But I feel like they brought it right back up to par with this one, and this one had me going. Like I said, other than the little back and forth head delivery line, and then sticking her in the horse costume, it's almost like we have to have a quirky scene here. Put her in a horse costume and have her walk around. Like, it was so ridiculous. Oh man. Oh, what does Jake say? I wouldn't go confront the lady. Period. She wrecks my life. I'd go straight to the cops. Or yeah, exactly.
Go kill her.
It's good to offer herself. Like you had me believing this for 30 years, you evil Rue. Oh, the idea of the show is great. Just plot holes from the writers. Every episode. Yeah, exactly. I do not believe they have the strongest writers for this show because there's always something that's just like, huh? Like, how'd they let that go through? Or why would they do that? Just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Just team up with someone that justifies her being around murders every week. Yeah, I mean, she can't just be the murder every week, or she would be the murderer. I mean, that would have to be the twist because what? Like, how does one person walk into this much death every week?
I mean, we thought so until previous episode with the freaking NASCAR thing. Then like, oh, no one dies.
Yeah, finally, exactly. Just out there clearing up some evil, undoing evil. Charlie the superhero. Get that woman a cape. Oh man, we only have a couple of trivia questions this week. We'll see if anybody remembers anything. I know we were supposed to do this last week, so we probably forgot a lot about it. But I don't need to do too many deep dives. But yeah, I guess there's a couple. We will see how we fare. If you know these answers, put them in the comment section. If you're watching later, put them in the comment section down below. How long ago did Arthur quit the company?
30 years.
Boom! Look at that. Remember more than you thought. Right out of the gate, we're on track. How long did it take Arthur to make the bust of Max?
2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, killing it. What was the name of the movie where the girl died?
I thought it was gonna be something like the Kraken or something, but you told me it's not the Kraken thing.
That's why I couldn't answer it. Because of course it is a trivia question.
What kind of creature was it? Because I know they said it was some type of their like Black Lagoon type thing, but I thought it was like a Kraken. Was it octopus?
It's in the realm, but not quite.
Huh.
Anybody remember what the name of that was? Remember they had to keep typing it in when they were getting the reels, the film reels, and when they were looking on the laptop, they typed it in. And Laura typed it in one time when she was looking for stuff. So it was all over. The name was all over the place. But if you know that one, put it in the chat box or write it in the comment section down below. That's too much of a deep dive. We're going to leave that one alone. What was the 1-year-old's name on the Maury show that the man was not the father of?
Oh, I don't even remember.
That's a deep dive too, but I just like that question. Anybody remember what the name was when he was not the father? What was the kid's name? Oh, another one. Does anybody remember what's Charlie's last name?
What?
What is Charlie's last name? He said, I remembered Thursday.
I gotta look that up.
Bob is not your uncle. It is not Bob. Oh, yeah. What's Charlie's last name?
Is it the first time they ever mentioned her name in this show?
I believe it is. It's when she
Oh.
introduced herself to Nick Nolte. She said, I'm Charlie, boom. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, why would you give up your last name? Actually, I don't think so, though. I think last episode, if I remember correctly, she gave up her name. She said something about that. So,
That's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I guess like she gave up as I'm guessing like he doesn't seem like the type of guy to like look her up.
Yeah, maybe perhaps. Or, he's a hermit, so he's not going to be out
Yeah.
there telling anybody where she is.
As opposed to the NASCAR places, I'm like, they will do that since you're working around kids. I
Yeah,
think
or
they would like look you up.
something. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So, yeah, I don't know. She got away with it. But, yep, they said it. What was the name of the actress that died on the set?
Don't know.
That's a tough one, too. What's the name of the movie Luther is working on now?
Not Evil Dead.
Absolutely correct, Jake. Absolutely correct.
Kale, like the vegetable?
Charlie Kale. Nope, not with a K, with a C.
Oh.
So basically, you could start calling her Cece.
Oh, you could.
Bada boom, bada bing. Absolutely. Oh, man. That's kind of a trick question. What's the name of the new movie Luther's working on? Hint, hint. It's actually the name of this episode.
Hell, I don't even know the name of the episode.
Oh, Bobra Bobston. BB. What snack did Charlie say she was going to make when she asked Luther if he wanted some?
Popcorn?
That's incorrect.
Dang.
It's funny. They named this snack like 4 different times throughout this episode. There must have been a sponsor.
Really? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I really want to know what it is.
What's up, chat? You remember?
You see it that many times?
What snack did Charlie say she was going to make when she asked Luther if he wanted some? Later on, Raul was there, and when Laura came in, she's like, "Whoever you are, come on out."
Hot Pockets. I was like, what snack is this? Like, you're right. They keep on naming that so many times in that episode.
Yeah, they were breaking it out a bunch. I had to make that one a trivia question. It's like, damn, Hot Pockets must be sponsoring this app. Here we go. That's gonna. I gave too many hints on that one. What was the date the tragedy on the set happened? That's a tough one.
No, I don't even know that one. Wait, was it April? In April?
Oh, wow. It was in April. Wow. Nice recall. It absolutely was in April.
It was in April 14?
It was not.
17?
Nope.
No clue.
Tell you what, you were damn close with that guess. So, why was Max digitizing the collection? That's how Max ended up seeing what really happened when Laura did it. It's like, why was he digitizing it?
Wasn't she like getting rid of like all the like the physical copies? Or they just transferring the art into the archives or something? Oh, wasn't they putting it into the museum?
No. There's a reason he said he was doing it. He's doing it for
money.
Oh, Jake nailed it. Yep, for the anniversary. He was doing it for the 40th anniversary party.
No.
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what they said. What was I said it a few times. What was the actual name of the bust Arthur made?
Marquette?
I was saying it wrong, but yeah, we're going to give it to you close enough. It's actually Maquettes.
Okay.
Maquettes. Maquettes. They're called maquettes for some reason. I've never heard of maquette, but that's what the
show. For the licensing of the show or something. I don't know.
That's what the show's calling them. Laura's company was called Lamb. What does Lamb stand for?
Isn't that an acronym for their names?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Damn. Because that would have been L-A-M.
Laura Arthur Max. That's what I would have thought.
Dang, and Raul begins with an R. Shit.
It could be a double entendre, I guess. But yeah, Laura Arthur Max. Like that's right. You're like, wait, it's just like the first letter of their names, right? But nope, it actually has another meaning. Written on the. They never actually said it. They only called it Lamb. You actually had to be watching and notice when they flashed by their signs a couple times.
Wow.
Signs on the building. But yeah, it does not stand for Laura Arthur Max. Actually, I'm sure it actually did, but that's not what they called it. They still called it.
It probably was gonna be that. Then they're like, yeah, let's not do that.
That's awesome.
And then they added more stuff, possibly.
But you got the inside meaning, which is more important anyway. What movie was the Medusa head from? That's a deep dive.
Yeah, I don't even know that one.
And
but that's say Jason. No, not Jason. It's Jason's the Argonauts. It's isn't it supposed to be Perseus? Clash of the Gods, was it?
Clash of the Titans.
There you go, Titans.
Really? Oh, that's what that thing looked like it was for, but yeah, that is not what it was made for. It was from an actual movie, and yeah, Raul and Charlie were talking about it when he was just getting kicked out. But last but not least, how long did Raul work for the company he was fired from?
40 years.
Exactamundo, 40 years to the T. Boom! Yeah, you actually knocked out a bunch for not watching it recently, from being last week. You crushed it. Well done, you. Well done, you. It was in the style of movies they make, but I forget.
I wonder if he get his job back, because technically, the person who fired him like just killed herself. Maybe
Oh, Raul, yeah.
Yeah, so he probably could have kept his job.
Exactly. Probably could just walk back in. I mean, the security probably escorted him out, but yeah. Yeah, I liked when he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, it's like I've been there for 40 years, but she's probably a murderer, so he's probably right. I got a giggle out of me. I was like, all right, that was pretty good. So the writing was kind of back on par of this one. It just had a couple slip ups. That was just a bit too much. I was like, oh my goodness, too much. Oh, Jake's impressed with your recall knowledge. Well done, you. 40 years indeed. But yep, that's going to do it for us. Like I said, not fandom's favorite, but top 3 episode for me. I was definitely back on track, especially after the last 2 episodes. I was really excited for this one and excited to see the penultimate next episode and see what's going on with that. So we're going to be ready to run that one back next Thursday? 2 days?
Yep. Should be. No, nothing to do.
Bada boom, bada bing. So episode 9 coming Thursday night. Make sure you get it watched, and we'll be back on and rocking and getting that one in. Coming up to the end. I hope they end with a bang, and I can't wait to see my Oprah in the finale. So that's going to do it for us. Hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic week, and it only gets better from here. And until we see you next Thursday, peace, everybody.
Don't drink the tea.